Hi, Bill Henshaw here, your local constitutional coot from San Francisco, California. And when you know in my home state, quote unquote, the idiots in Sacramento are really considering a bill that would allow the government to take your kids away from you if you refuse them any treatment for being a quote unquote transgender entity. Give me a break here. On what authority, even in their version of the California Constitution, can they do that? Whatever happened to parents and children, creator endowed inalienable rights? And it gets a lot worse too, because the real agenda behind this, like it always is, with transgenders or LGBTQ or whatever BS type things you want to talk about, federal regional martial law rule under the non-existent 14th War Amendment. That's all they have. That's all they believe in. And you get my modestly priced documents. I prove a cappella, and I can do it off the top of my head. The 14th Amendment not only doesn't exist, it never did. And neither do civil rights. Where is any authority for legislative crap like this coming from otherwise? I mean, why? It's that bad. And they can take your kids away from you. Whose kids are they and why? And think about this. If you have a marriage license, and most of you unfortunately do, because you've been bamboozled into getting one, that's a major big deal here. And or a social insecurity number, also voluntary, 42 USC 30288. And these factors think you volunteered into the system, that they own you, and that you have no rights that the de facto National Socialist government is bound to respect. And this, by the way, specifically includes the child procurement syndicate that takes away kids for any reason or no reason. And that has to stop too. That's at the head of my list to take care of business here. So any of you in those situations, and almost any other situation, even not related to family law stuff we're talking about here, but anytime you go into one of their courts, at the very best for them, it's an administrative agency. And the Supreme Court has been on the warpath the last 3 terms, just coming to a close later this month on that issue. Even potentially worse for them, what you're really in, the way it looks to me, and I think a lot of justices on the court will understand this one too, an executive agency. Can you say separation of powers, delegation of authority, Republican form of government? Where the hell is any of it? That's the original intent of those gas racist brainers of the Constitution. To set up a federated Republican form of government of defined and limited powers. Yet what we have today are 51 different elective despotisms. And in these, by the way, there aren't any elections anywhere in sight. There hasn't been a lawful election, in my view, and I can make a powerful case since at least November the 6th, 1860. And you can argue earlier than that. No electorate, no elections, no consent of the governed. And if we have a right to trial by jury according to the common law, which we do pursuant to the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, as reenacted by the first Congress, that's the remedy. Because we get in front of one of those juries, not one of their BS juries made up of 14th War Amendment citizens. That jury has the power to rule on the facts and the law. Independent control over the State Bar Association, which has been long in need of it. And SBA, by the way, Bar Association, British Accreditation Registry. You're unregistered agents of at least the City of London and have no business in any jobs at all, let alone in the quote unquote judicial department of government or any department of government. And yet the current system goes along as sweet as you please. And they assume that people like you and I, or you and me, I should say, are incompetent. That's how they're getting by with it. Instead of principal and agent, they see guardian and board, or more accurately, master and slave. And that's how it works. And civil rights aren't going to save any of you. On rare occasions, they have to make it look good. But all you have to do is look at Akron, Ohio, where 8 of these law enforcement thugs shot Jalen Walker in the back 46 times and didn't even get indicted for manslaughter, let alone first-degree murder. When are you people going to wake up? Civil rights not only doesn't work, it's never going to work, and it was never planned to work. That simple. So we start getting out there with the right issues, the right status, and with all the documents I have, modestly priced constitutional defense document package, you can do a hell of a job. If nothing else, setting an unopposed record in the trial court, because they never answer. They don't dare answer any of the issues I raised. It convicts them of treason on the record. But not answering them convicts them of treason too, because they have burden of proof on at least jurisdiction and venue. And that's that pesky U.S. Supreme Court saying it, not me, as you'll learn from getting my materials. Send me an email, unencourt@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you with the particulars of what I do, very modestly priced. And you get a lot of help with it, because I know, just like you, I was at the head of the class of ignorant coming out of high school. I didn't know a damn thing either, out of Washington, D.C., for crying out loud. So stupid, I volunteered into the Vietnam War at the height of the Tet Offensive. It worked out okay. A story for another day, but trust me, I didn't know either till coming out to California 40 years ago and getting arrested and spending a weekend in jail. And I was so stupid, I thought jails were for bad people then. But that started the journey. I'm in my 41st year now and going strong in 5 decades. And boy, do we have a lot of answers, and we have the Supreme Court that's going to have our backs. They're sounding more and more like me every time they make a decision here. And a couple of them have been unanimous decisions against the administrative state. That's how we're going to beat the bastards. And they know it. So it's all good news. It's a tough fight. And you're going to have some frustrations. I certainly have had my share. But bottom line is, 40 years in California, I found it impossible to get into jail. Except for my South Carolina adventure 7 years ago. That's a video for another time. But with that exception, they know better. And when they see people like me coming, and you get educated and can do the same thing I can, and it doesn't have to be nearly the level I do it at, but you convince them that you can do that, that makes a lot of things go away. And that's a big help and a big start too. And we'll talk about the marriage license and all that crap too on another video. But that's how they're doing it. They simply see you as a 14th Amendment citizen. Check your local constitution, the current version. They think is in effect, you're going to see that the qualifications for electors are that you're a United States citizen residing in California, for example, or Iowa or Minnesota or wherever. Wait a minute, the original citizenship was you were a state citizen. That's how you got United States citizens. They don't recognize state citizens anymore. They don't think they have to. But we're the ones, it's creator endowed inalienable rights, and we ordained and established this Constitution to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That's the big secret they want you to never to hear, because that's true. It's principal and agent. We tell them what to do. And all this crap you see now about Congress trying to pass laws and this, that, and the other, LAWS, laws against white supremacy, that's the reason they're doing it. And that's, by the way, exactly what I am. That's the sovereign body politic, right or wrong, or good or bad, free, white, male, 21. But the good news is, in that system, and it wasn't perfect, everybody has enforceable rights, not civil rights. And I've got a couple of cases I'm working on right now with people that, one of them has a lady that's really been good. She's done her homework and she really trusts me. Her son is in jail, convicted of a murder he couldn't have come close to committing, been in jail 6.5 years. This is how this system works. DNA didn't match, the gun didn't match, nothing matched, and they convinced the jury to bring in a guilty verdict, which could not have happened with a common law jury. We get that back, the game is over. That's how exciting it is. That's why I feel so good at the age I am. I am trying to look my age a little bit and feeling it a little bit, but I'll be 75 later this year, and I'm still going strong, because I know I have to finish this job and at least leave paths for you to follow me so that you can take over if I don't get to the finish line. But that's how exciting and how good it is. And for all of us, and we get in front of a jury, which I'm never going to see, they recognize it because we're there. Yeah, there's a lot of money involved here, no question about it. But what we want to do is make changes in the system that help them, their children, and their posterity. That's how we get it done. Oh, goodness, I can talk on a bit like this. But anyway, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. We can go a long way here with the window we had with the U.S. Supreme Court. Trust me on this one. Thank you.